All right, welcome to this video lecture. It's on 4.5, which is systems of inequalities. Okay, so it's not terribly long. We're just going to do a couple of examples here, mostly, but we've seen an inequality. For example, we might graph y is less than 2x plus 5. All right. And to graph this, we know how to. 2x plus 5 is in mx plus b format. So m is 2, where b, the intercept, is 5. So it should be a pretty quick, simple, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1 point. It has a slope of 2, right? And I missed, which is typical. But that's more or less the line, right? And because it's a strict inequality, that means I'm going to have a dotted line. So I'm going to come back here. Oh, that's a very big eraser. All right. Dot this line. Dot, 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 dot. Oh, that's even worse than the solid line. But it's a dotted line because of the strict inequality. And we're going to test a point, and because the point 0, 0 is not on the line, I can test that point. So that would be 0 is less than 2 times 0 plus 5, but that is 0 is less than 0 plus 5 is just 5. And so that's true, and because that's true, the region in which that point lies is shaded green, right? Now, we can see that. Let's walk away from it for just a second and graph a different one. Let's graph the inequality y is greater than negative x, right? Which you can think of this as y is greater than negative 1x plus 0 to put it into mx plus b format. That one should be pretty easy. It's an intercept of 0, so the intercept there is 0. It has a slope of negative 1, so that would be like down 1 over 1. It's a dotted line because of the strict inequality, so dot, 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 and it looks like that, right? We have to test a point, but I can't test 0, 0 because 0, 0 is on that line. So walk somewhere else and grab a different point. This is the point 1, 0, and I'm going to test it, right? X is 1, y is 0, so I'm going to test it into here. Y is 0. Greater than or equal to negative 1 times the x value, which is 1 plus 0. But that's to say 0 is greater than negative 1. Also true. So I found my area. It's that, right? Now, we've seen those before. Those are just two different inequalities. But if I want to graph the solutions to a system, of inequalities, then I just have a system that consists of two inequalities. And oh, I don't know, let's say that we have the inequality y is less than 2x plus 5 and y is greater than negative x, which we just saw each of these graphed individually right up here, right? So what I'm going to do is, for this graph, rather than do this all over, I'm going to just steal this sucker, pull it down, if I can. I have not trained this computer to use my mouse button correctly, so that's not going to happen. See if I can do it manually here. There we go. Oh, that's not helpful. Alright, I'm going to zoom out. Yoink. Still this guy again. So I'm going to steal all of this, put it down here. That's so not helpful. As you guys just sit here and watch me struggle with stupid computer garbage. Alright, got it. So what I'm going to do is on this equation, or this inequality, God, just do it. Pile of garbage. There we go. 20 minutes later. On top of that, I'm just going to take this other one and essentially, boom, right? The short of this is that I'm going to graph both of these on top of each other, and the final solution is that shaded area that's shaded for both. And this is going to be hard to see here, but it's this area in between the two. What is this? Starry night something? I don't know. It's that area that's awful looking. Make this bigger. It's all of this area in this right triangle looking thing, right? And that's my solution because that's this part of this shaded for both of those, right? So that's the general concept, is essentially we're just going to graph each inequality by itself, and then the final solution is the double shaded graph. So let me do one of those by scratch rather than copy and paste the two horrific looking graphs together, so that hopefully this doesn't look terrible. Let's do, say, y is greater than or equal to 1/2 x plus 1, and y is greater than negative 2/3 x minus 3. Okay. Then, the first thing that I want to do is just pick one of these and graph it first. So I'm just going to start with that guy, right? I'll try to, in fact, I'm going to, I don't know how to make this roll. I don't actually have a mouse, so I can't make this turn. That's not helpful. All right, cool, get out. So, no straight lines for me today. Okay, I've drawn worse straight lines, but on the first one, I'll just graph this in red. It's in y equals mx plus b format, so I know that I have an intercept of 1. I have a slope of 1/2, that's a positive 1/2, so I go up 1 over 2, and there's my next guy. This one's going to be solid because it's an inclusive inequality, so solid line. Preferably straight, but I just need to test a point. Now on the whiteboard or these markers that I'm using, it's hard to do shades, but I'll give it a shot with a highlighter here. But the point is, don't go crazy filling everything in black, because you still have to draw some other stuff on top of it, and it's hard to see when you've filled everything in very dark. But I need to test a point, so I'm going to test the point 0, 0 because that's not on my line. Again, you can test 0, 0 as long as it's not on the line. If it is on the line, you have to walk away from it and test somewhere else. But here I'm going to test it into that equation, this guy specifically. So that is to say 0 greater than or equal to 1/2 times 0 plus 1. Or 0 is greater than or equal to 1, which is false. So 0, 0 is not in the solution space, it's on the other side. So I'm going to go with a highlighter and go red. That means my solution space is over here. Up to and including that line, right? So that's the solution space for the first inequality. Now I'm going to do the second one, this guy right here. And so it's in y equals mx plus b, so I don't have to do a whole lot here. I'm just going to go -1, 2, 3. There's my first. My slope is -2/3, so that's going down 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. This one is a dashed line or a dotted line, whichever you prefer, because it's a strict inequality. And so I should have a dotted line that goes like that and up like that. And then again, I need to test a point. So because 0, 0 is not on there, I'm going to test 0, 0 into that guy. Into that. So that is 0 is greater than -2/3 times 0 is 0, so -3, but this is true. And so 0, 0 is a solution to this, and therefore my solution space is to the top of that equation. And so it's all of this, all up here, up to and not including that line, but it's all of this space up here. And so the solution space we can see is that double shaded line. So now don't go too crazy with it, but you can darken this in, right? It's the double shaded area, that's this area, and then up here, all of that up there. And it goes on forever up, and, you know, to the left and to the right, but that's my solution area, right? Doesn't look great, but, you know, I tried. So that's the point of this section. There's not a whole lot more to it. There is just one other thing to look at. So let's take a look at this last system here. Oops, x. Let's go -1 here. And y is greater than or equal to -2/3 x plus 2. Okay, so if I graph this one, let's start with the top one. -1 is down here. It's a slope of -2/3, so I would go -1, -2, and over 1, 2, 3 to get here. It is a dotted line because of that strict inequality. And then if I test, say, 0, 0, I get 0 is less than -1, which is false, and so it's the area below it. So again, I'll shade that in. That's down here. Right. For the other one, let's get out of here, go away, this, right? If I have a intercept at 2, that's 1, 2, and a slope of -2/3 is to go down 1, 2, and over 3. This one's a solid line, and it's parallel. It should be straight and parallel to the other one, right? But again, if I test 0, 0 into here, that gives me 0 is greater than or equal to 0 plus 2, and that's also false. So my solution space is on the other side, and that is up here. As you can see, there's no intersection. And if there's no intersection of those areas, then there is no solution. And that's really it. Those are the inequalities that you'll see. It's kind of a short, quick little section. So anyway, there you go. If you have questions for the review, please feel free to post those in the discussion area on Canvas. And yeah, that's it. You should be taking your test this week. So anyway, thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.